Good morning, everybody. I forget that you can hear me. That little How you doing, Sammy? United People's TV. It's Christmas. It's feeling very festive up in here now. The festive levels have gone up about 100 because that decided to turn up in the show yesterday. Then you realise why I'm a few minutes late today. I was like, I'm ready for the show. Balls. Haven't put the decorations on the tree. Bang, bang, bang. Throwing those out. Yeah, I'm a couple minutes late today, but I was literally decorating a Christmas tree. All right? Let me off. I hope you all enjoyed the quiz yesterday. That went down. It was really fun, actually. So today, we got the second edition of it. I've told you, it's going to be every single live show in the whole of December. A quiz at the end of the show, and there's going to be a giveaway. So there's a prize every single day. Yeah, let's run through the latest news. We're going to be speaking about Cunha returning. Some good news on Mbeumo and Amad. We'll speak about the latest from the Athletic on the January transfer plan. To be completely honest, they're feeling very, I won't say vague, but I'm not anticipating much in January. I really am not. However, we'll have a conversation about that. What else we got? There's some other news too. And as always, you get involved in the chat, and I'll involve you. Let's see who's here. We've got Carl, we've got Steph, and we've got Gungshi, we've got Josh. The mods are out in force today. Maddie, good morning to you as well. JC as well. Woo. You organising deliveries to the house. I guarantee you something turns up. It's just they've only got 1 hour a day, but they can't turn up. But they always turn up at that time. I think they do it on purpose, really. We've got some members here too. Fran, good morning to you. Saeed, we've got Fred, we've got John, we've got Phil, Vince, and C. Billington. Some non-members, Josie Graydon, Brian, we've got Siegs, Darren Tenner, we've got Ant, Mamu, and Jiu-Jitsu, Prince. I mean, it can't really look any more festive than this, if I'm being completely honest. This is about as far as it goes. I've got the 5 Cantonars back out. I do that every year. It's looking good. Right? Get involved in the chat. Let's enjoy a good show. I want to start with this. This is quite funny. All right, so I saw this yesterday. And it's the Athletic. It's the latest piece on Florian Wirtz and the struggles that he's going on. And he's just unfortunate to arrive at Liverpool at this time, man. If only he didn't arrive when everyone started doing long throws. Anyway, I saw that. And my reaction to that was this. Like, go away, Grok. My reaction was this. It was, I actually, and this is the thing, like, I think the way that Wirtz has been treated in the media, I think is actually a good thing. I actually would prefer that there was a little bit more leniency given to players. That there wasn't as much, like, immediate scrutiny for players. But I find it quite hilarious, the difference in the treatment that Wirtz has received compared to so many other players, expensive players, by comparison. I think that's the thing I will always call that out from a United fan's perspective. Like, Šeško was getting it after, I don't know how quickly he was getting it. It's just, I like to think that this is a reflection of how players are going to be treated in the future. I don't think it is, though. Anyway, the reason I'm pulling this up is because I've had Liverpool fans up in my grill. They've been in my DMs. They have been angry. I had Everton fans pissed off at me over the weekend for saying that Everton reverted to form after losing 4-1 to Newcastle. And now I've got the Scousers up in my DMs as well. Woo. I'm here like, I'm here swinging. I'm here swinging like this. It's quite fun, actually. Gungshi, man, good morning to you. Gifting 20. I should have got the lights ready. Anyway, the lights are on green and gold. It's feeling very festive and very Christmassy here. You're legend to all of you. Oh, can I just... I'll tell you what I should do, really. Let me do this, because I saw quite a few people yesterday saying, hold on, Sam. I don't know how to join the thingamajig, the quiz. If I do that, and then go there, that's the link. Right, and I'll do this. No one sent in anything recently, by the way, for the old community wall. I think people maybe got bored of it. Send some stuff in, guys and girls. Anyway, I will One sec. Let me remove that comment. Sorry, I'm struggling here. That's what happens when you multitask. Here is today's quiz link. There you go. I should actually write what it is rather than just dropping a random link in. So that's it there. And I'll pin it to the chat. There you go. All right. So that's the quiz link. We're not going to be playing it until later. But that's it for now. All right. Let's get on with today's show now. Let's speak about the news. So yesterday, I did my What We Learned video after the Palace game. I spoke about everything. The reason I do these videos is because I think it's nice to give it a day after. The match reaction is always heightened emotion straight after a game as a fan, which can be good and bad, depending on the result. But waiting a day kind of lets the dust settle and it kind of lets you analyse it a little bit more. Like that second half really was impressive from United. I know that Crystal Palace dropped off post-Europe, sure. But we made them drop off. And for once, we actually controlled a game. Typically, when United have gone into the last 15, 20 minutes of games, even if they're ahead and they're 1-0, they're one goal ahead, not necessarily 1-0 ahead, you're always nervous. I didn't really feel nervous in that second half. Nick on the pod, I hope you've watched that this week. That was the second video that went out yesterday. Really struggling to get. Maybe it's because it's just a different type of audience. But I love the pod. I love the pod. I suppose it's not everybody wants to listen to a 30, 35 minute conversation. But it's striking how fewer people watch the pod compared to the standard videos on the channel. Really is striking. For something that I feel like maybe just people don't feel it's as quality as I do. I don't know. Frustrating though. The amount of work you put into it. But yeah, can we take it into the West Ham game? That's what we'll find out. Lee down there saying, so what if they dropped off? Victim of your own success. Do you ever see us getting sympathy? I wouldn't say I'm saying for sympathy. But United took advantage of it. In the same way that United are taking advantage of being better at set pieces this season, because, to quote Amram, sort of stealing ideas from other people. I don't think we're just doing that. Either way, double yesterday. Adrian saying I was worried against Brighton when we were 3-0 up against Brighton. Dorgan made that mistake and then we conceded from the Welbeck free kick and then they scored a second. It was arse twitching time. We won 4-2, but the second half against Brighton was not comfortable. Spurs 1-0 up. Going into the last 15 minutes, it wasn't comfortable at all that second half. At any point. Forest, obviously, we went 2-0 down. Just United don't typically see games out comfortably. Sometimes they see games out, but not comfortably. That's what it felt. That's what felt different against Palace. Let's see against West Ham. Do you feel that there is any? This is DG plays. Do you feel there is any need to switch the formation, or you're optimistic it works out? I'm concerned. I think I've already said this to you. I'm concerned about the fact that, as it stands, we need to spend big money on wingbacks, which I think is a specialist role. And I just worry about signing specialists. And then I've sort of had a conversation and I kind of undermined myself and said, well, Nuno Mendes would be a perfect wing back, but he's also playing in a back four system at PSG. So like the absolute top level elite fullbacks, the modern elite fullbacks, can probably play wing back and fullback in equal capacity. Like Delot's not in that mould. I actually think Delot's a pretty damn good fullback. He's just not a good wing back. Like if you dropped him into like a more traditional back four system, I think Delot would be a very good player. And I stand by the fact that he is a 30, 40 million pound signing. I don't think we're going to be signing Nuno Mendes, by the way. But I'm just looking at the absolute like top of the tree. If you had all the money in the world, you'd probably be looking at Nuno Mendes, and I don't know whether you'd be looking at Hakimi now. You would have been a while ago. Someone down there saying skillful wing backs. It's in the same way, right? Like I think this is a pretty damn fair reflection of like how more difficult football is now. Wingbacks or fullbacks. Kind of both. I suppose you could say the same thing about fullbacks when Gary Neville was around, but there was less attacking impetus on fullbacks and wingbacks. A wingback now really has to be incredible going forward and relentless at defending and never out of position on either end of the pitch at any one point in the game. Central midfielders, and maybe this is probably my biased reflection of football because I'm kind of speaking about the United system, but the wing-backs have to be incredible athletes. Incredible. For 90 minutes. Up and down, up and down, up and down. And the same goes for our central midfielders because they have to cover so much ground. There's a lot of space for a wing-back and a lot of space for our central midfielders to cover. That's why we need these like supreme elite athletes. If you played in a midfield system that had 3 in midfield, there'd be less impetus and less necessity on athletic capability in and out of possession. But would you be as good in the transition, or would you play a different style? You probably play a different style of football. Someone's mentioning Semenyo. We'll talk about Semenyo a little bit later. I know it's in the headline of the show, and it's just an update from Fabrizio, which I don't think should come as too much of a surprise to anybody. But let's speak about the current squad. And a little bit of news yesterday. So this is the call-up for the Cameroon squad for AFCON, right? See Mbeumo down here. Have I got the little magnifier on? There you go. There's Mbeumo down there. There's Carlos Baleba there. And I see no Onana. Oh dear. James, you're asking, is Bruno okay? He's holding his hamstring. I'm pretty sure that Amrim said that he just kind of got a kick. So it sounded like it was more of an impact injury rather than a muscular hamstring. But Onana's been left out of the Cameroon squad. Mad stuff. Cameroon, if I'm correct, did they sack their manager the day before the squad was announced? And was it Samuel Eto'o that Onana fell out with? I can't remember. Do you remember that when we just signed him and he was left out? Was it at the World Cup? I think. And the manager at the time wanted to play a different style of football to what Onana wanted to do. So he was booted out of the squad, I think. Anyway, 4 goalkeepers named in the squad. It's not funny. It is a little bit funny. Anyway, Onana's stock has been going south for quite a while. So, Mbeumo is in the Cameroon squad, and we knew that was going to happen. But some good news here is this, right? FIFA has told clubs they're going to be able to retain players who are selected for AFCON until December the 15th. So, it means that we're going to have Mbeumo, Amad, and Mazraoui. And if I'm being completely honest, I could see them starting all these next 3 games. Maybe not Mazraoui, two games in 3 days. Maybe not all 3, but they're going to have some involvement. They're all going to be available for West Ham, for Wolves, and then Bournemouth at Old Trafford, which I think you could argue is United's hardest game in December. The other games we got in December, well, I think it's either Bournemouth at home on the 14th. I think it's the 14th. Or the 15th, one of the two. So the Bournemouth at home or Villa away, which are the hardest games. Who else have we got the 30th? Is it Wolves again? Do we play Wolves twice? I think we might. Either way, we're going to have Amad and Mbeumo up until the Bournemouth game. After that, I don't know what's going to happen. Will we see Shea Lacey get his opportunity? I think we probably will. Actually, yeah, I think he will. Yeah, Dan, I think Bournemouth is on the 15th. It's 14th or 15th. Let's quickly check. Fixtures. 15th, 8 o'clock. So, as late as it can possibly be. But it sounds like Mbeumo and Amad and Mazraoui will be getting involved. Someone down there saying AFCON's too frequent. How often is AFCON? Is it every 2 years? I think so. I mean, the reason I'm guessing it's always in December is because of the heat. Like the same way you had the Qatari World Cup. I hope we never have that again. It was a good World Cup, but probably never had that again. James is saying Newcastle's going to be tough. Yeah, we do play Wolves 2 times in 22 days. I suppose that's a good thing on paper. Famous last words from me and all that. Because Wolves are not improving under Rob Edwards, that's for sure. They didn't score a goal in November. Let's quickly have a look at Wolves' results. When was the last time they scored a goal? I don't know when Rob Edwards actually came in. Lost 1-0 to Villa, lost 2-0 to Palace, lost 3-0 to Chelsea, lost 3-0 to Fulham. They didn't score a goal in November. They got Forest at home tomorrow. Yeah, I suppose they could score a goal. And they lost. Well, there you go. 26th of October was their last Premier League goal. And they still lost to 3-2. Anyway. Good news, right? Both of these are going to be staying in. And even better news is this, right? Cunha. He's back in full training and he's back and ready and available for United. Now, I don't know exactly what the concussion rules are. But I'm guessing there's some form of call-off or like some length of time that a player should be left unavailable for as part of like concussion protocol. So I think that's a good thing that United have followed that. I think it's a good thing. Cunha I don't know whether Cunha could have lied about it, blah, blah, blah. It's frustrating for him to have missed the last couple of games. But it's good that we're following the right sort of protocols, protecting the players in ways that maybe I don't think we have before. Like if you want to go further back, like who is it? Twanzebe's suing the club for the back fracture. It's like a stress back fracture that the club didn't give him enough full rehab time for. Martinez, did he come back too early? He did, because then he had to have second surgery twice. Malacia, I think that might have been slightly unfortunate. Marcus Rashford playing like a whole season with like a stress fracture. It's a lot. Quite a few occasions where United have actually brought players back in too early, and it's led to more problems, if you know what I mean. Someone's asking, is the quiz link broken? I don't think the quiz link is broken. Let me click it myself. Oh, God. What have I done there? Oh, yeah. Go to site. Maybe it is. I don't know. I'll figure it out later. We'll all get involved in the quiz. Don't worry about that. But Cunha's going to be back. Brian is saying it's depending on severity. A couple of you are saying like 2 or 3 weeks. Either way. I've missed having him in the team, man. I've missed having him in the team. Why does nobody listen to me? Maybe it's because they tune in later. I don't know. The link for today's quiz is pinned to the chat. And that is where it will be most days. All right? Cunha might not have been scoring that many goals, but I think he's had a real impact on United's overall football. We've looked pretty lackluster in these last few weeks, let's be honest. Forest, he was available for Forest. I'm not saying that he's a be-all and end-all, but not having him in has been a problem. Šeško, I don't actually know what the time frame is on Šeško. I believe at the beginning, it was expected that he was going to return to training at some time around the start of December. First week or so of December. So maybe we might get a little bit of an update this week. But again, I don't think it's going to be something that United rush. Whether it's Martinez coming back from his 300-day injury, whether it's Cunha with concussion, United are going to be following protocols and probably erring on the side of caution when it comes to any injury. So Šeško, I wouldn't expect us to rush him back. What games have we got? I don't think he'll be here. Maybe Bournemouth. I would say potentially Bournemouth is where you might have the first conversation of Šeško being back and available. Prior to that, I don't think United will risk it because we play, obviously, Newcastle in 2 days' time. No, not Newcastle, sorry. We play... Who play in 2 days' time? West Ham. And then 3 days later, we play Wolves. So I don't think it's going to be either of those two. Someone down there asking about Chidowobi. He's just gone back into under-21's contention this season so far. It kind of feels like, if anything, like Gabriel Bianchetti might get a nod ahead of him. Maybe that's a bit unfair. There's no point talking about Lucas Paqueta. Someone's asking down there. He's suspended for the game. Someone down there saying needs to improve his shooting ability and final product and actually pass the ball. You're not a Wolves anymore where you do everything by yourself. Okay. Okay, curious question. Are there any actual United fans, obviously you are, Mr. Clock, who are annoyed with Cunha? You think he should be doing more straight away? Because if you wanted to, you could just look at his goal output and say, oh, he's not doing enough. He was signed for X amount of money. He should be scoring more goals for United. He's not settling in. He's blah, blah, blah. If you wanted to. If you really wanted to. I think I've been seeing so much good stuff from Cunha in terms of we are a better team with Cunha in. We are a better team with Šeško in. Is his goal output high enough? Not yet. That'll come. I'm not too fussed about that, if I'm being totally honest, because I think we've been having plenty of goals from elsewhere. Do I think he keeps his head down too much? Not particularly. No. I think there's, I don't disagree there's more to come, right? But not one part of me is annoyed or frustrated with him. I've really enjoyed what I've seen so far, and I know that there's more coming. I know that there's way more coming. I think that's probably one of the most exciting parts of it, like watching him really. You know he's not fully settled in yet. Yeah, he already very much looks like a United player. I think he has been influencing United in a good sense. Both on and off the ball, for being honest. Right, let's move on. Yeah, I was just curious there. Maybe there are some United fans who are more annoyed with him than I am. Don't know. Someone down there saying Xerxes should start again. United were absolutely crap in that first half against Crystal Palace. Awful. Second half, significantly better. I don't know what the right starting 11 is, but we'll do our starting 11 for the West Ham game tomorrow, right? Just a nice little message here from Martinez. You can see everyone congratulating him. Xerxes, look at that De Gea down there. Xerxes, Ethan Wheatley, De Gea. That's the Argentina. Paul, what's it? Paul something. Can't remember his name. Was it Rodrigo Paul? Rio? Anyway. Long time not being able to do what I love. You can read that yourself. Either way, there's no point in reading that out. Martinez is back and Martinez is available. We enjoyed seeing his return. And it's good to have Martinez back. It's good to have Cunha back. Injuries so far this season, let's be totally honest, been pretty good for us. Rodrigo De Paul, there you go. That's close enough. They've been pretty good for us. I think prior to Šeško, or maybe including Šeško, I don't know. Like United had one of the best injury records in the league this year. Now, playing only once a week, does that help? Sure. But if there's one thing I don't think anybody can really argue against in terms of what's better this year, I'd say it's United's injury record. And this is going to kind of annoy me a little bit. I think United's fitness is significantly better than it was last year. The reason I said that's going to kind of annoy me is because I then look at the first half against Crystal Palace, I look at the performance against Everton, and I look at the tempo that they played the football at in those three halves, and it was like, it was so slow. It was so cumbersome. But I don't particularly think that was down to a lack of fitness and just wanting to slow the game down because you're trying to catch your breath. Yeah, fitness has been much better this year. And injuries as a consequence. Cunha's less effective in the number 9 role. Yeah. You know what I think about that. I know it worked against Liverpool, but that was a particular game plan for one particular game at Anfield where we hadn't won in 10 years. You needed to come up with something different for that ground. And it worked. But I don't like seeing... If I'm going to play anybody centrally further forward, I would much rather play Mbeumo there than Cunha. I said that since the very beginning. I stand by that. Cunha's best capabilities come between the halfway line and the opposition's box. Ball carrying. You know what I think about ball carrying. What are we saying down here? Wasn't one of the coaches Ruben brought in an injury prevention specialist? Oh, what was his name? I think you're right on that. I think someone did, if I remember correctly, one of his coaches, was it Adelio Candido? Can't remember off the top of my head. I think one of his coaches did a thesis on injury prevention. It's a good point there. I'll dig into that a little bit more. I can't remember off the top of my head. Because Carlos Fernandez, I think, is the one that's actually doing a bit more of the... He's doing a bit more of the set-piece stuff. He's kind of like the hands-on coach. Carlos Fernandez, I think, is like 38. Adelio Candido, I think, is... I don't think it's him either. It's another one. What's the name of the other? I think it might be a slightly older coach. Can't remember. I think you're right, actually. It's a good one. What's going down here? Could start Mount. Maybe, maybe not. With Cunha back, you have options. And we need that. Can Shaw's body cope with Paulo Barrera? There you go. Thank you very much, Alex. I can't remember his name off the top of my head. Can Luke Shaw's body cope with playing left wing back? I would just... people asking that question, I know it's a fair question, but I just bat the question back to you and say, can Luke Shaw's body cope with starting 13, 14 Premier League games in a row for Manchester United this season? That would have been 100% no on the poll. Me included, by the way. Shaw's fitness is much better this season. It's not to say that I don't think he could cope with being the modern left wing back that we need. But I know he'd be a lot better going forward. You might then... And that kind of raises the question, the unfortunate question, is if Luke Shaw is going to then be stepping forward and going into those spaces and maybe leaving more gaps in behind him, then you're probably going to need a central midfielder to cover that space. What, are you going to drag Casemiro out of position to do that? Are you going to try and squeeze Martinez further up to close that gap and then leave a big gap in behind him? Hey, compromises. That's what certain positions in this squad this season have to be. Compromises, right? 1 second there. Got notifications popping up. Right. Where were we? Right. Let's move on. I just want to have a brief conversation about the Athletics' latest transfer deal sheet. Okay, this is from Laurie Whitwell. I'll tell you before I bring it up. There's not really too much to discuss in this. I think as it stands, I'm not expecting much major activity in January, right? We all know that United are going to be looking for a central midfielder, right? Adding a central defender could come on the agenda. This is 2026, by the way. This is not just January. This is what's going to be happening for the whole of next year. What are the players they're looking at? We already know. We held intermediary talks with Baleba, and despite the fact that he's had a poor season, he's prominent on United's list. So everything that we've heard so far, all the conversations we've had about, does Baleba's form turn you off the idea of United signing him? Some of you, yes. Some of you, no. From United's perspective, no. Baleba is still on that list. Still probably one of the 3 top targets. And it is going to be those 3. Anderson, it's going to be Baleba, it's going to be Wharton. And Elliot Anderson down there being the primary focus. I saw this stat from Statman Dave and I was like, bloody hell. That's some stat. He's the only player across Europe's top 5 leagues to have won possession over 100 times and to have played more than 100 passes into the opposition's final third. How's that for a combo? It's that sort of all-purpose midfielder, which is 100 million plus in the market. Today's market, it is. And that's where Elliot Anderson falls into. I don't think Baleba falls into that category. I don't actually think Adam Wharton does either. I think Elliot Anderson's kind of on his own in that sense. I actually think from a price perspective, and especially because what we know is coming up with the World Cup, I think Elliot Anderson's kind of in a sphere of his own. You know City going to... I think I saw reports suggesting that City are going to be in for him. City are 100% going to be in for him. And I will actually say this, right? When it comes to Elliot Anderson, you know how we hear about like the United pull and how it still exists, and bloody hell, it does still exist. Like the work that man did there, it still carries a lot of power these days. When it comes to Elliot Anderson, if he was to choose United over City, I think that would be quite a significant, what would I call it? I wouldn't call it a moment. I think it would be very reflective of just how impressive United's project is being sold to players. And I've actually said this quite a few times before. Like, as much trepidation and as much concern as we've got looking at the project from as a fan's perspective, clearly behind the scenes, they're able to sell it to Cunha, to Mbeumo, to Šeško, to other signings quite convincingly. And if Anderson was to choose United, that would be probably the biggest example of that. Because he's going to be wanted by every top team. He's going to be a 100 million plus player. It will be a coup. I think that would be a word to describe it, JC. It will be a coup. Classic coup d'etat. Everyone loves that. Bit of Russian Revolution. Jeez. I spent way too much of my time studying like 20th century Russian history. I mean, I've forgotten all of it now, but I went to uni because I like war. Not like I'm a warmonger, but I found war interesting. I wanted to learn a lot more about it. It ended up being loads about. It just ended up being politics. Got bored. Alex saying Euro chose us over Madrid. United went hard and fast on Euro. We paid slightly over the odds and we were aggressive. Elliot Anderson, we don't have the opportunity to even do that. It's going to be the World Cup, and then everybody's going to want to sign him. And everyone kind of already probably does want to sign him. And you're saying Liverpool are in a mess. Pep may not be his City pass this season, but Anderson really want to go to either of them, given that instability. Without being devil's advocate, those clubs will be able to point to Manchester United right now, and you say, well, there isn't a guarantee that Amram's going to be Manchester United manager next season. So while you are probably right there, I think the same thing could be said about Manchester United. And I'm just playing devil's advocate there. Anyway, he's definitely in a tier of his own now. I actually think he's on his own. He's out and out. Going to be the number one midfield target for a lot of people. But yeah, going back to this, right? And there's a little bit on João Gomes, which I thought was interesting. Like, this is what Laurie Whitwell was saying here. He goes, United might look to do something in January, but the expectation is that any deal would be seizing a low-cost opportunity rather than attempting any long-term signing. That being said, conversations will take place in case circumstances change. United are not anticipated to enter talks for João Gomes at Wolves. So, that there is the sort of the strongest information that we've got so far about United's plans in January, and it matches what we did last January. Right? United didn't sign Matthias Tell, even though we needed him in the short term because it affected our long-term plans for what we wanted to do in the summer. We therefore went the set. But this is where I think it gets interesting, and this is where I think there's an argument to be had. I think more so now than last season. Last season, we sacked we sacked Ten Hag in November. Amram came in December, and it was wobbly from the beginning. I don't think United really had too much chance to. Where were we when we came in with Amram? I can't actually remember. Either way, this table here and how close everything is, I think there's a. Maybe this is Captain Hindsight. Maybe this is like, of course, it's hypothetical. But there is a real possibility that if United did get a midfield signing, not the perfect one, but did get a midfield signing that they need, that might be the difference between getting into Champions League next season and not. And that's the delicate thing they're going to have to balance. Because I'll be honest, like, people were mentioning the idea of 44 million for João Gomes. I was like, mate, that feels like a lot of money for a player who I think is not going to be United's top priority. Do I think he'll improve our midfield? Yeah, sure. Conor Gallagher, people are mentioning down there, 20, 30 million, something like that. Do I think that Conor Gallagher would be a £30 million midfielder for Manchester United next season? Or would I rather United spend 30 million and go and sign someone like, I don't know, Keith Smith from AZ Alkmaar? Someone who really has kind of got his whole career ahead of him. Like, what do I think would be the best in terms of creating a squad midfielder? I think that's where the conversation has to be had. Someone down there saying, I'd rather give the minutes to Cunha. I just don't think you can look... you could look towards the youth at this point in time. Kone's missed like 2 months of this season because of a fractured eye socket, man. His progression got halted because of that. Not really been involved too much in the first team environment. Edison, his agent's been talking about it. That's the one from Atalanta. Look, this is the only way I see United doing something in January. Maybe they know a little bit more than, of course they should do, right? They know a little bit more than we do. They know exactly about negotiations that are going on between clubs and agents and which players could be leaving, which players couldn't be leaving. There might be someone there who they can take advantage of and get a good deal. Like, Rev, like, you never win anything with kids. Like, we're going to be whipping out the Alan Hansen conversation now. The quality, is it just the quality? I've probably just argued mainly the physicality of the Premier League. It's not what it was. It's just the truth. I know you're bored of hearing about it, but it is, and it's why that gap between under 21s football and first team football is so bloody big. And why United players are struggling, academy-wise, to come through into the first team. Anyway, that's kind of where it stands right now with the January plans. Quite a few of you have been speaking about this in the chat, and I saw this yesterday. And I'll be honest, like, who's surprised to hear this from Fabrizio? For one, I'm not. Do I think Semenyo could be a good signing for United? Do I think United would be a better team if we signed one of the best attackers in the Premier League? Yeah. Of course we would. But 1 second down there. You, sir, get in the bin. Come in here. You spam. Y'all can get banned. But Semenyo, right? Fabrizio saying that United are focused on other positions. Well, yeah. Would I love United to have Semenyo in this? Yep. Do I think that United... You know where I feel on this one? I suppose I kind of feel a little bit like where I was before we signed Šeško. Not quite the same. But I would rather United had spent £75 million on a central midfielder rather than £75 million on a striker after Mbeumo and Cunha. I thought it would have made us a better team. Right now, I think United could sign Semenyo. And we could absolutely put him in that starting 11. You could, if you wanted to, put him at wing-back, which I think is a bit of a weird choice. I know the idea of it, but anyway. Could work. But I would rather Manchester United spent 65 million his release clause? I'd much rather we spent that on a central midfielder. Where do you think he goes? I think he probably goes Liverpool. I think so. City? I mean, does City even need him? I don't quite know. Someone down there saying can't see him, wanted to join us. Mate, the United, the attraction of Manchester United is far bigger to players, and I think we still realise. I think so. Yeah, Harry down there. I know. I did a video. I did a whole full story on Semenyo to United. I don't think it'd be a bad signing at all. I don't like the idea of signing one of the best attackers in the Premier League and putting him in at left wing back. If I'm being completely honest, I just don't. But if you look at the best wing backs, are they all converted? All previously wingers who have been converted into wing backs? Because a proper attacking wing back is effectively a winger, right? Neville down there. Sam, would you not take that United could afford the guy if we take Gallagher on loan? Like, honestly, for real. Like, do you genuinely think that Conor Gallagher comes in and makes enough of a difference in midfield that we're going to get into a European spot? Maybe I'm being unfair on Conor Gallagher. Yeah, I don't really see that. Also don't see Ruben Amorim dropping Casemiro for the second half of the season because we brought in Conor Gallagher. Just don't see it happening. Carl saying it's the lure of being a part of taking United back to glory. I've spoken about that a long time. Either way, not too much of a surprise to hear that United aren't going to be really leading the way for Semenyo. We just have bigger priorities. We do. I thought this was interesting. This from The Athletic. And this is sort of like how Premier League clubs' most recent financials shape up against new squad cost ratio rules. Now, something to understand from this before I say it is this isn't all the latest info, right? All figures are based from the 2023-2024 season, with the exceptions of United and Leeds. Leeds is actually a year older, but United, because we are a PLC, ours are publicly available, so that information is out. So Bournemouth down there, being really close to the Premier League red threshold, that doesn't include this summer's numbers, where they sold an absolute hell of a load of it. Who did they sell? Kirkes and Howson, and their keeper left and their captain left. So Bournemouth are actually significantly better than that. But you can, kind of the point here, you can see how healthy United are. So while PSR was a definite concern when Ineos came in, we trimmed a lot of fat in a very, very brutal first year. Very ugly, lots of awful decisions, and lots of decisions I don't think they really needed to take with match-going fans to really sort of stain that relationship. But the bottom line for us is better. Can always be better, of course, but United are not really in a too bad a position when it comes to PSR moving forward. You know, have you had all those conversations before? I particularly think we need to have them. As long as every single year, but I still stand by the fact that the exits that we made not in January, last summer, that was the best that United had done in a long, long time. This summer, I think, is going to be even more so. We've already ran through that whole list. Again, we're going back to The Athletic here. I think this is interesting. A little bit. No, wrong one. This. No, not Newcastle. Who are they looking to sell? Oh, it's not even there. I thought it was. Anyway, I think I've read it in a different part of the article about the fact that Casemiro is not expected to stay. I think you're going to be seeing different ones in and out, in and out. I don't think Casemiro should be signing a new contract. I've already kind of made that clear. Oh, no. Let's go. Right. If I do this, can I pull this bad boy up now? Yeah. It's worked. Boom, it's quiz time. I'll tell you what, I've got something else I want to show you here. Right? We're going to pull the quiz up. I can see down there. I'm going to drop it. Look at the pinned chat in YouTube. Right? It's already there, but if you can't, for some reason, see it, that's it there. So yesterday, we were limited to 50 participants. Now we've got unlimited. Because we wanted to test it yesterday, see if it worked. And it does work. So as many of you get involved as possible on this one. What it is, it's 5 questions. It's fastest finger first. And whoever is top of the leaderboard at the end of the 5 questions is going to win a prize. Yesterday, who was it yesterday? Oz. Somebody began with Oz. I'm thinking from Sweden. Right, so we've got 91 involved here. Oh, this one's going to get tasty. This one's going to get tasty. Right. I'll tell you why. Wrong one. Wrong button. We've got a quiz anthem. Come on. Who doesn't love a quiz anthem? There's 130 people involved here. Osman, there you go. It was you yesterday. Congrats. This is day 2. Right? Only 75 avatars are shown. That's a shame. There's a lot of you involved in this one. This is going to be good. All right, you ready? Answer quickly to get more points. Who returned to the pitch for United at the weekend after knee surgery? All right? Casemiro, Martinez, Shaw, or Delo? Fastest finger first. Feels like quite an easy one, this. All right? I mean, it should be. If you get this wrong. If anyone types in Casemiro again, I bet you someone has. No one has. One of you did Shaw. Who was it? Which one of you did Shaw? Right. Some 3 points for everybody there, right? Who was fastest, though? Shammy. Absolutely no messing from Shammy. Ooh. I'm guessing it's out of 1,000 points you can get. Jeez. Right. Question 2. This is dead fun, man. Right. It's a nice, easy one to it. They do get slightly harder. Right. You ready? Question 2. On Sunday, which player completed a full Premier League match for United for the first time? Xerxes, Mount, Casemiro, or Bruno? Man, this jam is good. Come on. You wait until you hear the last song for the last question. Jeez. All 36 of you got caught out by Xerxes there. It was Mount. First ever time he's completed a Premier League game. Bad, isn't it? Shammy. Oh, still leading up there, I think. Oh, no, we've got a new leader. Mikey. Top of the leaderboard now. After 2 questions. 3 to go. This is tense. Can we just do this? Or should we just do this every single time? Music sounds like we're in a bad 70s movie. I'd say a good 70s movie, if I'm honest. All right. Next question. What is United's current goal difference in the Premier League? I showed you earlier. Is it -1, +1, 0, or +2? Some of you liking the music, some of you aren't. We might change it for tomorrow. +1. I hope that was right. We looked at it earlier. 79 of you got it right. Alex, did you get that wrong? Was it +1? It is 1. I hope it is +1. You did the questions, not me. Right, who's top? Sam. Stop the count. Stop the count. Someone called Sam is top. Obviously. It's the best name in the world. Right. Question 4. 2 to go. Right, 2 to go. You ready? It does feel very Starsky and Hutch, doesn't it? Bruno now has more assists in the Premier League than one of these players. Who? Is it more than Beckham, more than Rooney, more than Scholes, or more than Giggs? And the song has ended just as we go into the end of question 4, which leads us into the final question. Right. Bingo. We all saw that stat. He's got more assists than Scholes. And he's played hundreds of games less. That's mad. But who's top of the leaderboard after 4 questions? Let's have a look. Do we have a change at the top? Oh, dear. We got Sam on 3,812. David on 3,807. He's got to be fastest finger first for this final question. We ready for the final question? Come on. Of course it's going to be dramatic music for the last question. Yeah, you're crapping yourself now. You ready for this? Question 5. Come on, baby. Are you ready? Answer quickly to get more points. In which year did United play their first game at Old Trafford? 1878, 1910, 1913, or 1899? I don't actually know the answer to that one. I know the club was founded in 1878. That's a trick question. That's hard. Oh, that is unfair, Alex. That is an unfair question. Oh, he's going to be fumed down here. So 1878 was when United were founded, right? But they didn't play their first game at Old Trafford until 1910. Who wins? Who wins? Sam. Oh, by 5 points. By 5 points. Fuming. Whoa. Just Pabs is fuming. And you're there in third. He's close, but no cigar. Sam T. Congrats. We like that. We like that. Anyway, let's end the dramatic music. Sam T, you've won. Congrats, dude. Get in touch with Maddie or Alex in the Discord. They'll get your address. We'll get a poster sent out to you. Congrats to you, man. That was fun. The quiz music was good, right? I liked it. I've got some other songs as well. That was very Starsky and Hutch, I'll be honest. Just Sam winning the quiz. Who could have predicted that? Trevor, you finished 71st. Matt always finished second, dude. Right. We'll wrap up for that. John, you're saying, can you watch this and play at the same time? If you've got YouTube Premium, I think you can. Because if you've got YouTube Premium, you can open the browser and you'll still hear it in the background on your phone. If not, I'm guessing you have to do it on a laptop. I don't quite know. All right. Right, so tune in for tomorrow. We'll do another quiz. And I'm going to try and get the raffle set up for the PS5 as well. I've said this to you before. So what the raffle is, we're going to be giving away a PS5 to somebody who wins a raffle. It'll be a £1 a ticket. And 100% of all the ticket sales are going to be going to, I think we'll choose like a children's charity for Christmas. So the draw will be made, I don't quite know when, at some point around the 18th of December. So hopefully we can get the PS5 delivered to you before Christmas. And then, yeah, 100% of proceeds are going to be going to charity. So it's our way as a community of doing something nice and doing a little charity donation. And at the end of it, someone's going to win a PS5 that United People's TV will pay for. All right? Cool. Ha! That was fun. Fingers crossed that we can keep winning and we can keep a little bit of fun momentum going on. Right? Thank you all for tuning in. If you can, please do drop a like on the video. You can see how much work I put into all of this. I try to make it the best possible show I can. Quite like these lights here. I think everything is looking pretty damn Christmassy right now, if I do say so myself. Lunchtime video today is probably going to be on Lenny Yoro. I want to say something about what's going on at the moment and just a little bit of some support for him. Thank you all for tuning in. That was a tough fifth question, Alex. Brutal. All right. Take it easy, everybody. I'll see you tomorrow morning.